Hey guys, Jeremy here with Simple Little Life. Welcome to installment number 37 of Viewers Knives. These are all knives that you guys, the viewers of this channel, have been making, and it's a great honor for me to be able to share your work with others, and it's also so inspiring to see what you guys are doing. Let's get started. The first knife we'll look at is sent to me from Icarus, and he is a 20-year-old knife maker from Germany. He says he's learned a lot from this channel, so thank you so much for your great email, Icarus. I do appreciate that. Now, this is the 6th knife that he's made, and the second one he did with a new grinder setup that he did, and he essentially took one of those, you know those grinders that have like a disc on the one side, like a normal bench grinder, but the other side has a smaller belt? He took one of those and made modifications to it, a couple of upgrades, and he said it's working great for him, so I thought that was a really cool idea. The blade steel that he used for this knife is 14C28N, and it's a simple stainless steel. He heat treated it in his backyard, and you can see he's got the nice stainless steel bolsters there with canvas micarta in between. He says here is a real pain to grind all that stuff down. I could certainly imagine that, but my goodness, with a result like this, absolutely worth the effort. This is a great looking blade, Icarus. Thank you for sharing it. Also, in the description below, you can find a link to Icarus's Instagram account, so be sure to check that out as well. From Germany, let's head to Italy right now. Matteo is a 31-year-old knife maker, and he's been making knives for about 2 years, and he says the passion for it is just growing and growing. His first attempts were very rudimentary, and now he's starting to engage with trying to do more accurate work and just really trying to refine his process, and I would say he's making fantastic progress. These are great looking blades, Matteo. Really like the look of this Warncliffe type sheep's foot design. Really nice with the metal bolsters there, and the finish just looks superb. Also, this folding knife here, really nicely done, and he actually made his own micarta for this knife as well. And then we get into this ringed tanto type blade, and it's so neat just to see the huge variety of the knives that you're making. And you know, I find that to be the part of knife making that I enjoy. I get bored out of my mind if I have to make a whole bunch of the same knife, so it's cool to be able to have the variety and try different styles. And your collection of knives here, each one of them is so different, and they kind of take on this old unique style profile, and it's really interesting to see. All of them are very well done, so Matteo, keep up the great work. Thank you for sharing this with us. Also, there's a link to Matteo's Instagram in the description below as well. We are going to stay in Italy. Filippo is an 18-year-old knife maker, and he's been making knives for about 3 years. He wants to go full-time, so I wish you much success with that, Filippo. That's a big leap, but you know what? If you work hard, anything's possible. I really like these knives that you're making. I like the wood that you're using, these lines. It's very stylish, very interesting, and just looks absolutely fantastic. Really great work here with this bone handle, this antler handle. That's one thing I've never tried myself, and again, another one of these striped woods, laminated wood there. Very nice, very stylish, kind of a trendy looking handle there. So Filippo, I hope your journey to becoming a full-time knife maker goes really well for you. This is fantastic, and again, another Instagram link to Filippo's work. Check it out down below. We're going to head from Italy to Wyoming, United States of America. Nick is a 31-year-old knife maker, and he's been making knives for about 7 years. He's actually recently just opened up an Etsy store, and I've got a link to that in the description below, so you can go check out if he's got any knives available. And he's really enjoying knife making. This first knife here, the Bushcrafter, this is a really nice looking blade. This is made from 01 tool steel with Cocobolo scales, hand-filed Scandi grind. And the second knife is his Warncliffe with black G10, and the steel that he used for that is 1095. I think these are great looking blades, Nick. Very nicely done, and the images too. I really like images taken outside, you know, kind of show a knife in its what could be its native environment or habitat, you know, where it's going to be used. And I think you did a great job with these ones, so thank you so much for sharing this. Let's head south and a little bit east from Wyoming down to Oklahoma. Taylor is a 22-year-old knife maker, and he's actually been making knives for about 10 years. He hopes that one day he can get a shop set up with tools and eventually make a career out of that. So Taylor, I wish you much success with that. And he wants to share some pictures of knives that he started making quite a long time ago. This first one here was from a W2 Farrier's rasp. Actually, both of these knives were made from the same rasp, from what I understand. And this first one here, this small little, looks like a real cool little type of skinning knife. This was made from that Farrier's rasp, brass pins, and then locally sourced cow bone for the handle. So that looks really cool. Kind of looks like ivory. It's a really interesting concept there. And then the second one, this bushcrafting knife, he made with the Farrier's rasp and the oak with a nice brass guard there. So Taylor, these are great looking blades. Again, I hope your dream of becoming a full-time knife maker works out for you, and just keep having fun and keep making knives. Very nicely done. All right, let's head from Oklahoma to Northern Ontario, Canada. Ed is sending pictures of these, the first 2 knives that he's made. This first one here, the Damascus, was actually a blade blank that his wife had bought him, and he actually filed the bevels on there, and he used a moose antler for the scales. And the second one is 01 tool steel with cherry wood handles, and again, he filed the bevels on there. Pretty much both of these knives were made by hand with hand files, so really, really nice work here. It's cool that your wife bought you that blank and was kind of encouraging you to get into that, so that's really awesome to see. And I think these are fantastic looking blades. Hopefully you're going to make some more of these, and these aren't your, your first 2 isn't where it ends, because this is great looking work. Keep it up, and thank you for sending this in. This next knife is sent to me from Ben, and he's from Virginia, and he's an active duty in the Army. So first and foremost, Ben, thank you so much for your service, for the sacrifice that you make for your country, and for freedom. It is truly appreciated. Now to the knife. So this knife is the 9th knife that he's completed, and he started making knives about 6 months ago. In his downtime, he'd watch YouTube videos and learn about knife making and materials and stuff like that. So that's kind of how he got his education on this, just like so many people like myself. Learned to make knives by watching YouTube videos, and this is a fantastic looking blade. The steel that he used is 1095 bar stock, and then Hawaiian koa for the scales. He used brass Corby fasteners for the pins, and then he cold blued the blade for some added corrosion resistance. Man, this is just a fantastic looking blade. I like the profile. It looks really comfortable, nice beefy size there, and just finished out really nicely. So Ben, thank you again so much for your service. Thank you for sending these pictures in. We are going to head to Denmark, and Magnus is a 13-year-old boy who's learning how to make knives, and he's just having a lot of fun. Just sent these pictures in. I don't have a lot of information about these knives, but you know what? When I look at a 13-year-old going out there cutting up a piece of steel, I'm not sure what type of steel. Quite frankly, at this point, it doesn't really matter. He's learning how to make things. He's trying something new, and in my opinion, he's getting out. He's working in the physical world with his hands, something that so many young people don't do these days, and it's so exciting to see this happen. So Magnus, keep up what you're doing and keep getting out there making stuff. This is so exciting to see, and I hope you have so much more fun with it in the future. Ryan is a 22-year-old knife maker from South Carolina, and he's only been making knives for about a year. And when he said that, and then I looked at his work, I was absolutely amazed. I was not doing work to this level after doing it for only a year, and this is truly inspirational. I love the attention to detail, and ultimately, making a better knife is about slowing down, focusing on it, make sure you're getting it right before you move on to the next step of the process, and it looks like you've done a fantastic job of this. So this first knife here, this large bowie, he made this out of a leaf spring for the blade and the guard. He put a mirror polish on them. The handle is cherry, and is actually cherry that he'd cut down from his dad's farm, so that is really cool. He's also got a little bit of G10 there right underneath the guard, and then he said here he had to fill in the handle with epoxy, colored epoxy, kind of to match the grain of the wood, and then the whole thing is held together with glue and a brass pin. And this second knife here is made from D2 steel. He put an acid etch finish on it, and the handle was made up of walnut, a red spacer, and then deer antler that was laying and glued to a black G10 spacer. Just absolutely incredible work. Both of these knives just look fantastic, and for somebody that's only been making knives for about a year, this is absolutely impressive. Excellent work, Ryan. Thank you so much for sharing this. Alright, we're going to wrap up this edition of Viewers Knives by taking a look at this knife from Peter. This is actually the very first knife that Peter has made, and knowing that, this is really impressive. He says in his email he just grabbed a piece of 01 tool steel and figured he'd try it out. He also says here that the straight grind lines and plunge lines are witchcraft. He says they're a complete mystery, and I totally get that. That is one of the questions I get asked a lot, is how can I get better grinds? The only thing I can offer is to just do more grinds. It's like anything in life. If you want to get better at it, just do it more. For this being your first knife though, Peter, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this. And if you ground out 10 more blades, you'd be amazed at how much better your grinds are and how easier they come too. But excellent looking knife here. The handle that he used is ebony with steel pins in it, and he did a lot of hand sanding to clean everything up, and I just think this looks absolutely wonderful. This is really great work for your first knife. Peter also sent a picture in of his 2x48 belt grinder that he made, and that is really cool, guys. If you've got your own belt grinders you've made, send those pictures in too. I know there's a lot of you guys that are interested in this. I am. I've got my own belt grinder. I've made a few homemade belt grinders, but I still really like to see how other people approach it and try and solve the problem of getting a grinder for less than you can buy one commercially. So thank you so much for sending these pictures of your grinder and Peter and your knife, sharing this with us. Excellent work. Keep it up. I hope this isn't the last knife you make, because you've got something here. I think you should nurture it and keep practicing, and you're going to be making some fantastically great looking blades. Alright, that's going to wrap up this edition of Viewers Knives. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you'd like to have your knife featured on this channel, just email me, jeremy@homesteadknives.com. Keep in mind, I've got a bit of a backlog right now, like 400 and some entries, so it'll take a while for me to get to it, but I do feature them in the order that they come in, so go ahead and send it in. Keep an eye out on this channel, and hopefully your knife will be showing up. Go ahead and leave a comment of encouragement for the makers below. You know, I get asked a lot, it's like, why don't you critique the knives that you show? Well, first of all, who am I to critique it, right? Because I mean, I don't make the best knives on earth. I still see areas that I need to work on, and I don't feel like I have a right to subject anybody to my opinion of their knives. And the biggest thing about this, the reason I want to do these viewers knives is not to, you know, say, oh wow, these are the best knives ever, or you know what, I want to encourage the fact that people are actually doing the work. To me, that's the important part, because nobody picks up knife making and just makes a beautiful knife the first time. Everybody gets better, and I want to celebrate those that are actually getting our hands dirty, grabbing tools, grabbing steel, making a mess, and making a knife. That's what these are about, so I encourage you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Keep up the great work. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. Cheers.